So now I'd like to introduce our next presentation and speaker, Chek Tan, and his presentation is called Life is for Living. Chek's the father of a 28-year-old man with autism, Jonathan, and he's working as a kitchen hand. Chek and Jonathan enjoy a range of social activities together and share a passion for savouring culinary delights. Sounds very good. Yep, we're going to have a listen to Chek and his story, Jonathan's story, and he'll join us at the end of his presentation if we've got any questions.
8 years. I think it has to start with a very early stage where we got him to understand that he has to be part of our lives, working daily or doing something that we are part of. So at a young stage, he set the table, he cleared the tables, he cleaned, he got involved with food preparation, he prepared his own lunches where possible. He helped with clearing his own bags, his own drinks, and that became a habit for him. Eventually, I took him to work where I work in a factory, and he looked after the coffees and teas, topped it up, made sure there was enough photo paper in the photocopying machine, and that became a habit for him. It also gave him a sense of pride because he was pleased to be with people and he was happy to please people. That gave him a sense of belonging, and the company looked after him by giving him a pass so that he can come in and out, made him feel as if he's part of the company. And even though he wasn't paid a lot, he was given enough so that it became an incentive for him to keep on working. So you can see that from a young stage, he was always around food and food preparation. However, he had several interests. Some of them were including transport and directions, geography. But we were looking for something that he could manage. One of his issues was if he had too many people around him, he became confused or he became too interested in every talking and couldn't focus on his work. He couldn't be around television because visually something would take his attention and he couldn't focus on his work. So we were thinking of a food preparation or food area where he was involved with a limited number of people, say for instance an aged care facility, something that he would do regularly. There was a lot of work because he enjoyed and he thrived on lots of work. With that in mind, we knew he had to have more experience and skills. So he enrolled at Melbourne Polytechnic. He did hospitality, in particular retail baking. But great part of the course was that he had to do work experience. And in one of the years, I happened to know a person who owned a cafe nearby, asked if he could have some time there, and she agreed, which was fantastic, really. So he started at a 2-week stint. That 2-week extended to 4 weeks. And lo and behold, she liked him so much, she offered him a job for the time when he wasn't studying. And that was his start with Becker Food Store. Becker Food Store wasn't all plain sailing. The reason being, whilst it was a small little cafe, they cooked everything, they made everything on site. It was very busy, which suited him. There were so many different skills he had to master, many staff in terms of turnover, new customers every day, menu would change regularly, and that was quite a challenge for him. So to ensure that he succeeded, Wise Employment was his support employment service, and they would meet with the management weekly to help them understand him and him to understand what they expected of him. As he is an autistic person, anxiety was his big issue. Anxiety comes from not knowing what to expect, not knowing the outcomes, and that has been a problem all his life. Along the way, we've managed to teach him to overcome some of this anxiety he had by trusting, by forming relationships. He did that when he was young in school through the class teachers, and eventually through TAFE again to the class teachers. But at work, we have a different relationship, and the relationship was an employer-employee relationship. But still, with the support of Wise Employment and the employer, he managed to put his trust and his faith onto the employer, which worked out very well because it meant that he could manage daily the changes. He trusted the employer, and the employer could therefore give him the guidance he needed to ensure he overcame his anxiety. Some of the innovations we did during his time there was to manage his time when there was nothing to do, his downtime. We created a list. This list was never ending. These were things that could have been done but don't have to be done. So that every time there was not much happening in the cafe, he would attend to one of the list, and they included a small little garden at the back where he would be weeding or watering, where he'd be cleaning extra items that were once in a while activities. He would maybe make more boxes for work for tomorrow, or he would clean some of the shelves that were done maybe every 3 months. And that list kept him busy, which really managed part of his issues, which is his anxiety. That list kept him busy, which really managed part of his issues, which is his anxiety. The photo shows the anniversary of his 8th year at the cafe. In fact, he's the longest serving person because the cafe owner has since sold the business. And we're very, very happy. I'm very proud of him because he's managed to hold his job, and he's managed to make new friends along the way. All the new chefs, all the new support workers, as well as the barista. He hasn't quite learned how to make coffees yet. I know everyone is interested in work and occupying the time between 9 and 5 on a weekday. I was more interested in the weekends because I wanted Jonathan to have a interesting life, enjoyable life, something he looks forward to, and something that he could continue when I'm not around. So we plan 2 to 3, maybe even 4 events per month where he'd decide what he wanted to go, what he wanted to see, what he wanted to go to, what he wanted to participate in. He has his favorite AFL team, NRL team, A-League cricket, and when the event came around, we would plan and organize it, and he would plan it in such a way that he would either go with me or with the support worker. The other interests he has are rock concerts, musicals, and movies. Suffice to say, we've seen quite a number of rock concerts, probably about 8 in a year, and he appears to enjoy all of it. And I have the benefit of just going around and watching a lot of concerts, which I enjoy. Apart from concerts and movies and musicals, he also enjoys meeting his own friends. We attend different journey events, dinners twice a month, where he volunteers as one of the leaders, as one of the helpers there, and that gives him a lot of pleasure and joy and satisfaction. Also, on once a month, they hold swim nights for all the participants. But instead of swimming, Jonathan loves cooking, and so he's one of the helpers at the barbecue. On Thursday evenings during term, he plays basketball at an all abilities basketball, and that seems to create more teamwork. Understands teamwork, and he also understands winning and losing. Gets disappointed, but he manages because he's been used to it, and that becomes a challenge for him next time to do better. And one of the other weekdays, we do personal training together, and that's part of getting his core, his balance, that he doesn't quite understand and doesn't quite know how to use well. All of this appear to be a very busy person, and I think that's a reason for it. And one is that I need to introduce as many different events and different activities for him so that at some point he will choose. He will choose what he wants to do, what he enjoys doing. And therefore he will then have a chance to meet new people, experience new activities, and we understand today that as he learns new skills, he actually improves his overall being. It's part of his overall healthy life, balanced life, if any, or a full life, whichever means. What you see is a collage of all the activities, some of the activities he's been involved with, and one of the things he loves is chasing celebrities. I'm sure some of you will recognize Volume 30, ex-tennis champ, our own premier, Scott, the restaurant owner, and we managed to even score tickets to the footy show. We also see where he volunteers at the Royal Children's Hospital. In this case, he was actually selling AFL winners' posters. And we also had some fun runs, in this case, Run for Kids. Future for John is still being designed, still being developed. We plan to have a place for him near his work where he can walk daily. We think that we've equipped him enough so that with minimal support and supervision, he can live perhaps with a friend, perhaps with somebody else, but certainly not a full-time carer. The way we will help him overcome that is to have technology to guide and support him. For instance, sensors to know whether he's in and out, electronic doors so that if he loses a key, somebody can still get in, sensors for the stove when if it's on and he's left it on by mistake or the tap is running. We think of that's possible, given I'm an electronics engineer. That's what I'm planning to do. We also hope that this could happen in about 3 to 4 years because that's what his plan is. At the same time, we also know that there's skills that he still has to pick up, and part of that is transition to independent living training. That's being run by either Mitch, which is Manningham Inclusive Community Housing, or Interchange Outer East. Both of them have a 6-month living with supervision where they take the person with disability from nothing to hopefully learning how to cook, how to manage a budget, how to prepare and plan for the week, keep the place clean, and do what we all take for granted in managing a household. So that's the technology side, or that's the technical side of living. Then there's the part of living that includes people, includes some decision making. We don't expect him to know that, given his intellectual disability. So I'm trying to set up a circle of support. And that's a team or group of friends, young and old, who know him, who have worked with him, or who have known him for a while, who hopefully meet twice, 3 times a year to talk about what can be done, what can be done to help him to reach his next goal, to travel, to plan for, say, extra people, new people to come into his place, to work with him, to live with him. This is so that we, the parents, are not there to guide him every day, but instead this team of people who oversee his life, but without interfering his daily life. Financially, I think we've set him up fairly well. We have planned, and we already have set up a special disability trust for him. He knows how to handle most of his own monies, although his excess will be managed by a trustee, and we expect that the circle of support will be part of the team to assist him to spend it, to help to manage that money that he has. This is still new, so we're not sure where we'll get to. However, we're confident that given what he's gone through, what he's learned so far, and what he's shown that he's learned, that he can manage this. Thank you.
So I just had a look. I haven't seen it. I'll just check back on the site to see if there's any questions. And we don't have any questions in chat. So thank you very much for telling us about Jonathan's very full life and very interesting life, and his appreciation for the arts and for music is wonderful. Something that you both enjoy together, which is fantastic.
Yes, yeah, we did.